Hi, it's the 2nd of July. I didn't mean to leave my camera alone for 3 months, but that happened because I was just enjoying my life in Sheffield. The last thing you saw was me, Imran and Cleo in the car travelling to Sheffield and a couple bits from our first night here. But I'm going to give you the Spark Notes version of my life in Sheffield. Starting with what I did to make myself feel like my life is in Sheffield. That started with my morning routine. As long as I have that, I feel situated. So back in London, I was waking up at 5, doing workouts at home with my weights, my resistant bands, cool. But here, I'm at a gym and I love it so much. I just love having access to equipment, machines, everything that I could possibly need. The only reason I didn't go to a gym in London is because the gyms around me were just not it. Nope. But I'm really happy here. So I wake up at 4 in the morning. I know. When I tell people I wake up at 4 in the morning, the look of abject horror that's just like smeared all over their face. It's just like, Sia, what's wrong with you? Well, I like being awake before what feels like the world wakes up. I am an introverted, antisocial person, so it works. As long as I get 5 hours of sleep, I'm fine. So go to the gym, stay there for an hour and a half, and then I take Cleo out to this beautiful park that we have near us. And we are there for an hour, and she's just running about. This park is just full of greenery. You might be thinking, oh my God, to see it, it's a park. Of course it has like green shit. But listen, yeah, our morning walks in London, it was a concrete jungle, okay? It was just residential roads and main roads. It's not like Cleo could be off lead. She couldn't be running. I couldn't see her little paws move, her little legs, and her ears just flapping away in the wind. I couldn't see any of that because she was always on lead because that was safe for her. And the only park that we had near us was a private field that you had to pay £12 for an hour. That's just not economically sound. But here, she gets so much exercise and enrichment because she's always exploring and sniffing things. And she has that characteristic staffy smile. I mean, I don't really know if it's a smile, but it looks like a smile. And I can just tell that she's so happy. Her quality of life here has dramatically improved. Well, collectively, like me, Imran and Cleo, the quality of our lives has dramatically improved. So yeah, my morning routine, go to the gym, take the baby out, and it's mummy-daughter time. I love our mummy-daughter time. Come back, have a shower, do some writing before work, and then log in at 9. And on to writing. So when we moved here, sorry, my glasses, they just keep slipping down. When we moved here, I didn't write for a good few months. And that's because I was just burnt out. So last year I was shortlisted for Penguin's #Merky Books New Writers Prize. From 700 submissions, I made it to the shortlisted 20. And the final part of that competition was to submit 5,000 words. If they like your stuff and you win, you get a book deal. And obviously I had 5,000 words because I had started writing this manuscript before I even knew that this competition existed. But I looked at these 5,000 words and I was like, let me just refine it. But it was difficult because I had to constantly battle these thoughts of, would the judges prefer this technique? Will Penguin want to publish a book that is telling this story? It's the whole idea of your form of expression, your art being determined by what the capitalist society that we are governed by desires. And for me, that should never be a factor that determines how this story I'm writing plays out. I get it. It's a business and you have to make money, but it's a form of expression and it's not something that caters to KPIs. But I did manage to combat those thoughts, have my integrity intact, but I was emotionally drained. I was burnt the fuck out. So I just stopped writing for a bit. And then about 6 or 8 weeks ago, I started writing my Substack posts more frequently, just exercising those writing muscles. And naturally, that got me back into writing my manuscript. So I resumed writing my manuscript and I am happy. I'm happy just word vomiting onto this Google Doc and seeing what happens. And now on to The Landlord from London. So I naively thought that the landlord would leave us alone when we got to Sheffield. Like when we left, I just thought that was it. done, dusted, bye-bye. Imran was not under the same impression, rightfully so, because he was correct and I was not. Before we moved into the place in London, we didn't pay a traditional deposit. We paid the equivalent of 1 week's rent as our deposit because the landlord had opted into something called zero deposit scheme. What I understand is it's kind of an insurance for landlords. But what it means for us tenants is you paid a 1 week of rent and that's it. You can move in. It's not really a deposit because you don't get it back. But when we got here, a couple weeks after, we got an email from Zero Deposit that said the landlord has raised a claim against you for the mould, damage relating to the mould, and an ad hoc cleaning fee. So I saw this email and was stunned. Literally, the woman was too stunned to speak. I could not believe what I was reading. The obscene amount of audacity that this person possesses to even attempt to get any more money out of us. I could not believe it. But once I regained functionality and engaged my brain, I was like, I've got this. So I compiled all of the evidence we had, the footage of the mould, the pictures, the WhatsApp transcript where the landlord admitted to the mould being a pre-existing condition of the property that predated us moving in. Quote unquote, the girls before just left the windows open. I also included the email thread of us raising the mould concern to the estate agent 3 weeks after we moved in 2021. I also added a cover note to just express my honestly disbelief that the landlord is trying to get us, the tenant, to foot the bill for a problem that they know existed way before we moved in. But they just didn't want to tend to the problem because it's obviously going to cost them a lot of money. So they try to get a teeny bit of that money out of us. I'm not saying £1,600 is a teeny amount of money. I'm saying the money that they would have to spend to fix the mould problem. When it comes to mould like that, you have to do something to the walls. So I think it becomes like a structural problem, kind of. Or you have to like put in loads of ventilation bits. It's gonna cost a lot more than £1,600 is what I'm trying to say. But I'm obviously not a mould expert. In that cover note, I also cited clauses from the tenancy agreement to say that they've obviously violated these clauses because they have not provided a property that is fit for human habitation. You might be thinking, oh, well, that's like an exaggeration. No, it's not. It's absolutely not. Especially when you consider it made Imran sick. Part of the evidence that I submitted to Zero Deposit to dispute the landlord's claim was a letter from Imran's doctor where the doctor stated that the mould in the property significantly contributed to Imran's declining health. So Imran started to have breathing problems. So his lungs, his chest, his respiratory system has been severely affected by the mould. I'm talking 2 years of coughing fits, coughing until he threw up, not being able to eat at certain times, having to sleep on his right side, not being able to run, not being able to go to football, even a brisk walk. His quality of life declined. It was a dire situation. His physical health, his mental health. 2 years of that. Now he has to use an asthma pump twice a day, indefinitely. I submitted all that evidence to Zero Deposit. They said, okay, we can't in good faith have you pay for the mould problem, but what about the £140 cleaning fee? And I wanted to say, absolutely not. I'm not going to spend any more money because when we were living, this is a thing. If you get us as tenants, you won the lottery because we are great tenants. We don't cause problems. During our tenancy for 4 years, we didn't withhold the rent. We tried to fix the mold problem ourselves by buying anti-mold paint, the painting equipment, cleaning equipment, and we did this a few times. So it did cost a bit of money. We never asked to be reimbursed for the money that we paid. So knowing all of that, and for the landlord to even try to squeeze any more money out of us, yeah, fucking mad. It takes a certain type of person to do that. But this is the definition of a slum landlord. And they are able to do this because we're in a housing crisis. They're exploiting a very unfortunate but government-sanctioned reality. Yeah. And before I submitted all of this evidence to Zero Deposit to dispute the claim, I watched a documentary on YouTube it's by that guy who I refer to as a social housing activist. I'm not sure if he would refer to himself as that, I don't know. That's how I think of him. I can't remember his name. I know it begins with a K. In the documentary, he spoke to people who were in social housing and people who were renting privately. And on both sides, people are just being fucked over. And there's nowhere to really turn to. There's nowhere to really go. It's so hard to get justice for the bad situations that property management services and landlords put you in. So yeah, I watched it as part of the research I was doing before replying to Zero Deposit. But yeah, so we paid the £140 cleaning fee just to never have to deal with this person ever again. But you can't make someone sick and not face the consequences of your actions or lack of actions because you caused it. You can't do that to someone. It's beyond unjust. So I will pursue small claims court. I've done research, but I haven't started yet. I'm not entirely sure where to start. I mean, conceptually, I can see the steps from the research I've done, but it's going to be a lot. I know it's going to be a lot mentally, emotionally, and possibly financially, but we'll see what happens. I need to get justice. But I don't want to end this on such a depressing note because our life in Sheffield is beautiful. Like I said, our quality of life has dramatically improved. We're also happy, and it's almost like I wish we moved here sooner. But I do believe that everything happens at the right time. Like whether you believe it's the universe, a deity, or just cause and effect, I believe that everything happens at the right time, and we're here at the right time. We're in this really beautiful home. We've never lived somewhere so nice. It's just kind of crazy how your immediate surroundings can have such an impact on how you attack life. Well, not how you attack life, but how you pursue life. Because I now go full throttle. I'm in such a good headspace that it doesn't feel like there's much holding me back, or it doesn't feel like there's much that's weighing me down as much as being in that place. Me and Imran have always said to each other, as long as we have each other, we have our family, we're good. But now that we have our family, all of our love and happiness in this beautiful home, yeah, it's what we deserve. It's definitely what we deserve. Okay, well, I'm gonna go on with work now. But I'm going to include some B-roll showcasing our life in Sheffield. Okay, cool. Bye.